So as NBA teams' evaluations continue to climb higher and higher, we're seeing private equity money trickle in more and more. And make no mistake about it, the NBA fandom will be pimped. And in this segment right here, we're going to touch base on Mark Walter, the new Lakers owner. Almost instantly, let it be known that next year's season ticket holders will have to cough up some more of that loot. But there is an interesting conundrum right here, and it is the fact that there is a portion of younger NBA fans, I would say the demographics of ages 8 to about 24 years old. They are not as connected to the league as previous generations, as they do have a lot more things to consume and occupy their time. We'll also hear from the former Bucks owner Mark Lazary, who was present when Giannis had won that championship. He spoke on this very same dynamic. But first, just a little backdrop. NBA media personality Rob Perez let it be known that the Lakers has sent their annual invoice to him, and not only their ticket prices raised for his section about 14%, they also added a 3% admin fee on some Live Nation / Ticketmaster shit. But the lines nowadays are going to start to get blurred with a lot of companies overcharging for certain things, especially as private equity tends to come along and try to buy everything up. Keep in mind, Luka's 10-year Supermax contract is coming up in 2028, where he's going to be eating good and just earning well over $70 million a year. And that's not even the craziest part of his contract. The fact that now in the NBA, teams are afraid of hitting that second apron, just having a player on that large of a deal is going to make it very difficult and expensive to put a good roster around him. So the Lakers more than likely will be on the hook for luxury tax payments, and that can exceed well over $80 to about $150 million plus. Look what happened to the Phoenix Suns when Kevin Durant was over there. Every season they were on the hook for about $150 mil, but the price increases continue to climb up because around the 300 level, there were fans that reported to ESPN that their ticket prices increased by 45%, including that newly 3% admin fee. We all get that inflation is crazy right now, but going from last year to this season, that same section only went up by 12%. Again, the NBA fandom nowadays will be pimped. The only difference is that in today's climate, there are way more media options to keep people occupied. Former Bucks owner Mark Lazary gave a great perspective from an owner bird's eye view of this whole situation. And this is where the disconnect lies, especially with owners maybe not realizing that the younger generations do not have the same connection to the games as previous fans. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
Well, I think the way you'll get more value, look, you only make money in sports 3 ways. So it's ticket sales, sponsorship, and media. So if the Celtics win again, they'll be able to raise ticket prices anywhere between 10 to 20%. If you have a team that's the worst in the league, that team is still raising prices 5, 10%. Nobody stops giving up on their team. It's actually one of the great little secrets about pro sports. Every year, you know, the whole mantra in sports is next year is our year, right? And everybody believes that. So I think you're always going to see that teams are going to keep on growing at sort of anywhere between, 10% to 15%.
And Mark Lazary right there has to consider that standpoint is true up into a certain generation due to the plethora of options they have when it comes to their consumption habits. No one in this current era is going to sit down and wait for their favorite team to rebuild for 3 to 4 years. They're going to move on to perhaps maybe their favorite streamer. And I'm really talking about the demographics from ages 9 to 24. There's gaming communities. Their favorite musical artists or even personalities are live streaming from night to night. So the same bond that previous generations had when an NBA Finals would end and they couldn't wait all summer for the season to start back up, that connection is not the same. And now NBA games are very fractured. You got to have multiple streaming services even to tune in. That right there continues to add to the further disconnect or just a lack of connection to the game that younger fans once grew up with. It's another reason why you even see today a lot of the younger players don't necessarily even know the history of the players, even from LeBron, CP3, and the Carmelo era. I tell you what, private equity and just the way they operate, it's going to be interesting to see how they actually break that link between fans just always saying, oh, we got next year, and just that undying loyalty the odds are pretty high of them just completely pimping that out to a point where people might not even give a fuck anymore. But again, Mark Walter in that Lakers purchase, he used a lot of Saudi money, and him along with his group just owning the Dodgers, which baseball itself has pretty much an older demographic who watches the games. From their point of view right now, they may perceive the NBA as being a lot younger, but that relationship is not a guarantee going forward, especially for that demographic that should be coming up with the game now. But we'll see. Mark Lazary definitely provided some great insight, especially due to the fact that there is a belief even for struggling teams that you could still raise ticket prices. It goes to show you the mindset of what investors that come into the sports space are really expecting. Mark Lazary now, he has pivoted from being the Bucks owner into being in the investment side of just the overall business. We're definitely entering into a new era of just how sports is even operating as far as the relationship with the fans. It's just mostly going to be transactional now. The media side to the revenue, it's not really guaranteed. The streaming services, even with the influx of cash, they're not willing to spend on sports like the broadcast networks did.
Look, you only make money in sports three ways. So it's ticket sales, sponsorship, and media.
As we all heard, Mark Lazary stated that there's 3 ways of making money in sports. Right there, you can see the downward pressure that's going to be on ticket sales and sponsorships, aka time to pimp out the fan and overload them with gambling ads. But we'll see. For the fans, this is going to be a whole new experience.